Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Motor City Gaming, here with another video for you all. Today we're just going to cover some tips on what gun to use when playing this game and what attachments to use. So I mean, these are all opinionated. Everybody has their different preference, and you know, everybody uses their own different guns and different attachments, but I want to show you a couple of mine and what I use. And before we get into this, this all depends on what type of player you are, and what I mean by that is if you're a close range combat fighter, mid range, or a long range. And I personally, I'm good at all three. But mostly I like to do close range combat. You know, I like to get in the opponent's face, I like to flank, I like to run up on their spawn. You know, it's just more fun to me that way. I don't normally like sitting back all the time. I mean, that's kind of boring, but I'll do it occasionally. So it's just about figuring out what type of player you are, and once you figure that out, you understand what gun works best for you. So we're gonna go over here to my classes. So I have 10 custom classes, but I'm going to be going over 9 because I know one of these guns I don't use. So we're going to start with the VKM 750. So this is one of my favorite LMGs, and I'm an LMG guy. I've always loved LMGs. I got this gun diamond camouflage, as you can see, so I use this gun a lot, and it's absolutely one of my favorite LMGs in the game. It's absolutely powerful, strongest LMG hands down. Tip: I normally use this for mid-range combat, mid-long range, but there are times I use it for close range. The hip fire, it's not that good. I mean, it's gotten a little better since the few updates that they came out with, but I wouldn't try it because it's hard. So I normally use this gun for mid-range and long range. And going on to the optics, so you have 5 different optics to use for this gun. When I first started using it, I started using the reflex sight. I absolutely love the reflex dot sights, one of my favorite dot sights in Call of Duty. But when I got the NVIR, which is the thermal scope for it, it just completely changed the way I play with this gun. And I like using the thermal just because it really expands my field of vision. I can see better, see enemies further, and you know, it's really tough for an enemy to kind of duck and dodge and try to peek around the corner and get me, because you can see everything. So if I was going to use a sight for this gun, I would definitely use a thermal. And I mean, I've seen people use holographic sights for it. I've seen a bunch of people do that, and the holographic sight is really good for this gun, but me personally, I don't like the thick scope. It just kind of throws my game off. So I would personally go with the thermal scope, the NVIR. And going on to the attachments, rapid fire. Now, when you first get this gun, the rate of fire is just absolutely terrible. I mean, it shoots slow. I don't know if any of you played Call of Duty World War II, but the Bren, it was kind of like the Bren on that game, and the Bren was just like one of the slowest guns. I mean, even with I think you got a rapid fire attachment, I mean, it was still awful. That was like a gun you just kind of sat all the way in the back and just camped and shot people from a distance. That's not something that you wanted to run up with. So this gun kind of reminded me of that, but it's a little bit faster than a Bren. But once you put rapid fire on it, I mean, it completely changes it. It makes it a lot faster and more easier to use, because it is a struggle using this gun without it. My next 2 attachments, we got high caliber and we got high caliber 2. So of course I picked those, I mean, because I wanted to make this gun as strong as ever. So I put those 2 attachments on there. I feel like they work the best. I've tried using, like, taking one or the other off and using grip or quick draw or extended mags or a fast mag, but the gun doesn't kill the same without the high caliber and a high caliber 2. I feel like it drops faster having those 2 attachments on. So I would definitely go with those two in rapid fire over the extended mags and the fast mags, grip and quick draw. It does bother me that this only holds 50 rounds. There's times where I'm caught up in a lot of gunfights, and I'm just shooting, and the gun takes a while to reload. So that's the downside of not having fast mags. You kind of gotta really watch your ammo and really pay close attention to that. But if you can get around it, I mean, it's what you can live without. And me personally, I feel like I can live without the extended mags and the fast mags for the extra damage. So I would go with those three attachments. And lastly, we got the operator mod, which is the fat barrel. And this Call of Duty, the operator mod just completely changed the game. And the fat barrel being probably one of the best operator mods in this game. So it fires a massive shell that hits the targets easier, so I don't have to even be directly shooting at my targets. I can kind of just be slightly shooting next to them, and since the shell is thick, it'll still hit them, and it makes it easier to kill your opponent. So that's a little tip for this gun right here, one of my favorite guns in the game. So I would definitely go with those attachments if you're going to be using this gun. Next, we're going to go up to custom 2, which is the Hades. And the Hades, I struggled using this gun a lot. It's a really good gun, but when I didn't have it maxed out or any attachments on it, I really struggled with it. I just found myself losing a lot of gunfights, and I don't know if that's just me or the gun, but I lost a lot of gunfights with this. It's like I would get them to like 4 health, 10 health, but at the end of the day I just lose. So this one was a struggle. But the operator mod, once I maxed it out and got the operator mod, that completely changed my way of looking at this gun. I absolutely love this gun now. So we're going to start with the optics now, before I attach the operator mod, because with the operator mod you can't have an attachment. But before, I was using the ELO sight. I used the dual zoom and the reflex. I found all 3 of these to be extremely good, especially the dual zoom. But using the dual zoom, like I said in the beginning, I'm a close range combat fighter when it comes to Call of Duty. So there would be times where I would be in a close range fight and I would try to aim down sights, and it just didn't work out. Because I don't think to hip fire, I always think to aim down my sights. So I had to get rid of this one. So then that came down to these two. The reflex sight was really good, but overall I found myself using the ELO sight a little bit more. I feel like it was just more accurate for me. I hit my targets better. So if I was going to go with a sight, I would definitely go with the ELO sight. As far as attachments, so we got 3 attachments, but we got 4. FMJ, I will go with FMJ on pretty much any gun, just because it can penetrate through walls and buildings and stuff like that, which is good for opponents who like to hide behind those things, who don't really like to get in the gun battles. You could just, especially with an LMG, you could just shoot until you get your opponent. So FMJ, I would definitely go with that attachment with this gun. Then we got hybrid mag. So hybrid mags is basically going to give you a faster reload, and it's slightly going to increase your ammo. So it's not going to give you a lot of ammo like extended mags, but it's going to slightly increase it. For example, so the Hades holds 65 rounds, but when you attach the hybrid mags, it gives you an extra 19. The extra 19 definitely helps out in situations when you find yourself behind enemy lines, and enemies keep coming and taking them down, and you don't always have to reload all the time. So I would definitely go with the hybrid mags. And then the rapid fire, of course, increase the rate of fire. I feel like this is a very good attachment when using this gun, and reason being is because getting to the last attachment, the operator mod, the crossbar, this crossbar completely just changes this entire gun. It's like you're carrying around like a mini machine gun, and with the rapid fire, I mean, this gun is just definitely unstoppable. So this is one of my favorite classes. I don't use it often. I use it mostly on small maps, really just on Nuketown or probably slums. But I mean, you can pretty much use this gun for anywhere. I mean, it's a complete beast. And that's tips for my class setup number 2. So if you're going to be using Hades, these are some of the attachments that I will put on there. Going to number 3, the Maddox. So the Maddox, I struggled with this gun at first. Also, it's almost dang near the last thing you unlock before you prestige. And I had a lot of trouble using it, so I put it down very quick. But when I continued playing the game, I ran across a lot of people who were using this gun, and I mean, they were just shredding. I mean, going absolutely crazy, dropping 50-60 kills. So I ended up picking back up. You know, I told myself, you know, hey, maybe, you know, I gotta get it maxed out, or maybe there's an attachment I gotta put on there. You know, maybe it's something I'm not doing with this gun. Maybe I didn't give it a chance. So I picked it back up, and as far as the attachments, I mean, they don't really give you something that makes the gun stronger. So starting with the optic, I mean, at first I was using the reflex sight, but I found that to not really work. So I took the sight off and used the iron sight. The iron sight worked very, very, very well for me. And then I unlocked the ELO sight, and the ELO sight just completely changed the way this gun is. I don't know what it is about this sight, but for some reason it just makes the gun a lot better, in my opinion. So if I were to use any sight on this gun, I would definitely go with the ELO sight. And as far as the attachments, so I only have 4 attachments. So we got fast mags 1 and 2. Now I mean, fast mags 1 and 2 are, I mean, they're good in situations, as far as, you know, if you find yourself constantly reloading a lot, which I do, and that reloading time matters, especially if you're behind enemy lines and you just need a quick reload, just to, you know, get back in a fight. Fast mags 2 definitely helps out with that. I mean, every second magazine auto loads, and the first magazine, I mean, is reloading fast. So I would definitely go with these 2. Then I have laser sight and laser sight 2, and I just put those on there just because it helps with my hip fire accuracy, because like I said, I am a close range combat fighter, and you know, there are situations where I have to hip fire a lot. So I found out that the laser sight 1 and 2 helps out for me. And I don't have the operator mod on here. I had it on here. That was the Echo Fire, and that one was really nice. I had it on there for a minute, but I took it off because the gun was the recoil was kind of crazy on it. I didn't like the recoil at all, so I took that off, and I found it better to just do fast mags 1 and 2 and laser sight 1 and 2. So those are some tips if you're going to be using the Maddox. Moving on to custom 4, we got the SOG 9mm. Now submachine guns have always been my favorite class. It's always been like my go-to when it came to Call of Duty, because I just love playing up close, kind of mid-range, and so, you know, I've always chose submachine guns. Those have always been like my kind of go-to gun. And when I got this game, I wasn't really happy with the submachine guns. I mean, to me, honestly, they weren't really that good. I'm starting to see a lot of people use them now, as far as like the Cordite, the Spitfire, GKS, MX9. So maybe I might pick one of these guns back up and try them again. But I mean, when I first got this game, I mean they weren't that good to me, in my opinion. But the SOG 9mm was really, really good by itself. I seen a lot of people using this gun, and they were just absolutely just dominating. So I had to pick it up and try it out. As far as the optics, before I got this gun maxed out and akimboed. I was just using the reflex sight or the ELO sight. I wouldn't recommend a threat detector or holographic because I mean these sights are like really thick. And if you're going to be playing up close with this gun, I feel like these sights are going to just kind of throw you off. So the reflex and the ELO, definitely I would go with those two. Now I do have these akimboed, so I mean there's a lot of things you can't really put on this gun when you have it akimboed, but for the most part I got fast max. Fast max definitely helps out with this gun a lot because they're akimbo. You run out of bullets really fast because the rate of fire is pretty crazy. So I mean there's times where you need a quick reload, so I would definitely put the fast max on there. I used to not run this with a suppressor. I used to just kind of run it by itself. By itself, it was really good. But then I found using a suppressor really helps out a lot. And plus, I do a lot of flanking when I play. So I don't like to be hurt. I don't want my enemies to see where I'm at, where I'm coming from. You know, it's good to just flank and take down enemies without, you know, showing up on the radar, and you know people have sights on you. So I would definitely try this with the suppressor, and that's a little tip for the small for my custom 4. Going on custom 5, so we got the KN57. Now this is a really good gun. This is also another gun I struggled with very heavily when I first got it. So as far as the optics, I really only use the reflex sight. I haven't really tried to use the ELO, the holographic, or the recon. So I can't really give you much on that. I know it works very well with the reflex sight or with no optic at all, which is the setup I have now for this gun. And as far as the attachments, we got rapid fire. I love rapid fire on this gun. You know, increases the rate of fire, and I just kind of feel like it just helps drops the enemies faster, because you got more bullets coming out at one time. The grip for this gun is absolutely amazing. I mean, it makes the gun so much stable. It's still, and it's like it's like the gun barely moves. So definitely grip is something I recommend. I mean, like I told you, I struggled with this gun before, but once I unlocked the grip, I mean, I didn't struggle with this gun anymore. This gun became my best friend. Moving on to the next two, we got hybrid mags and we got extended mags, and I mean, yeah, I would definitely go with these two. I mean, you get the faster reload, and you get the extra 30 rounds with both of these. You got 65 rounds. That's very helpful, especially for an assault rifle. I mean, there's times where I'm in an enemy territory and I take down a lot of enemies. You know, I don't catch myself reloading so much. You know, because I have a lot of rounds, and that's really good for me. And as far as the suppressor, I mean, with or without it, the gun is still amazing. I just put a suppressor on this because, once again, I do a lot of flanking and I don't want to be heard or seen on the map. It's very important for me to run up in the enemy's base and take down everybody without trying to get spotted, you know. So that's a tip for the KN57 on my custom 5. So yeah, if I was going to use this gun, these are the attachments that I would have on there. Moving on to custom 6, the Rampart. So this is actually one of my favorite assault rifles in the game. I absolutely like this gun. But it can get tricky as far as the attachments and stuff to put on there. So we're gonna go over those really quick. The optics. Now, I've tried using the reflex, I've tried using the recon, the dual zoom. Out of all attachments, I like the recon the best. This one worked very, very well for me, especially with the mid and long range combat. I mean, it was perfect. I didn't really like it with the reflex sight. I feel like it kind of made the gun worse. And the dual zoom was fine too. I really liked it with the dual zoom, but I really feel like this gun is best without an optic. When you don't have an optic on it, I feel like it makes the gun better just with the iron sight. So that's what I currently have now, and in my opinion, I feel like if you're gonna be using this gun, don't put a sight on it. Now going on to the attachments, I have 4. So we got FMJ1 and FMJ2. Now when I first used this gun, I had FMJ1 and 2, high caliber 1 and 2, and I think I had grip 1. So yeah, I had all 3 wild cards. But I feel like that the gun just wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be. I was losing a lot of gun fights. And so I took high caliber 1 and 2 off and just kept the FMJ 1 and 2, and I felt like the gun just got way better after that. I started getting more kills, I started winning a lot more gun fights, and to me personally, these two are better than high caliber 1 and 2. I feel like those attachments just don't really do anything for this gun. And my next 2, we got long barrel, we got grip. Long barrel definitely helps out because it increases the range on the gun, so you can actually use this for some long range combat if you want with the recon. That's a really good setup, a really good attachment. I was using that for a little bit, so long barrel definitely a must, something that you should put on this gun. And of course the grip, I mean, that makes the accuracy way better, so the gun's not jumping and moving everywhere, because this gun does have some recoil on it. So the grip I would definitely use. I can live without the fast mags. I don't really use this gun often, but I can definitely live without fast mags, so that's not something that I will put on there personally. So that's a tip for the Rampart and my custom 6. Moving on to custom 7, SG12. Now, this gun gave me a lot of trouble. I struggled a lot using this gun in the beginning. It was very hard, especially without the extended mags. I mean, it was really weak, and I died a lot using this gun. My KD went down really bad, but what got me interested in the gun was the operator mod, of course, the flashlight, which basically makes the enemy, when they see you and you flash the light on them, it kind of blinds the screen. It's like a light flying everywhere, and it's really hard for them to take you down when you're shining this light. So I just had to max it out, try it out, and when I did, I absolutely fell in love with this gun. It's one of my favorite setups, favorite classes. I try not to use it a lot. The flashlight is really cheap, so you know, I don't want to really go in there and be cheap all the time. But when I find myself losing really bad, sometimes I'll pull it out just to catch up a little bit. But this is definitely one of my favorite guns. As far as the optics, I wouldn't use a dot sight on it. It's a spread shotgun, so you won't be doing a lot of aiming. I mean, you won't need to. Attachments, the max load, this one really helped the gun become a little bit more stronger. Before I got this attachment, like I said, this gun was really hard to use, but when I got the max load, it became a little easier. Felt like I was dropping my opponents a little bit faster. So this is definitely an attachment that I would put on this gun. Then of course we got long barrel, so you're dealing with a shotgun. The range is not gonna be all that on the shotgun, and there comes times where, you know, you find yourself on a long distance battle, and I mean, you're gonna lose. So, and I mean, even with the long barrel, you're not gonna shoot anybody across the map, but if you're kind of like in that mid range, it helps. And you want as much range as you can get on a shotgun, so I would definitely go with the long barrel for this. And then you have extended mags. So this is a little tricky. I chose extended mags just because I needed more rounds. The 6 rounds just wasn't enough, so with the extended mags you get 10, and then with the extended mags too, you get 13. So I just chose the extended mags. I had to give up the extended mags too, just because I wanted the operator mod, and the operator mod takes up 2 slots. So you kind of have to sacrifice between the max load or the long barrel, and I honestly just couldn't see myself doing that with either or. Um, I would really like to use the extended mags too, but I mean, I have to have max load and long barrel. And those are just my personal opinions. You know, one of my buddies, he has extended mags too, but he doesn't have the max load. So I'm gonna leave that up to you all to decide on that one. But for me, if I was using the SG12, you know, these are the 4 attachments that I would have on this gun. And moving on to my custom 8, we're gonna go with the Vapor. The Vapor is one of my favorite guns. Kind of reminds me more of an SMG than an assault rifle. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite guns. As far as the optics, I use the ELO sight on it. ELO sight is really good. I found myself using this sight more than the Recon or the Thermal or the Reflex. The range on this gun isn't that good. So to have a thermal sight and, you know, use this for mid-range, close range, I just don't feel like it'll work. So I definitely did not go with that one. I'm running no optic. I like it with the iron sight. I feel like that's a really good choice for me to make. It improved my accuracy too, and I feel like the gun is just better without a sight at all. And the attachments, I have a silencer. The silencer is really good with this gun. For some reason, it just makes this gun 10 times stronger than what it is. So I would definitely go with a silencer. The rapid fire, of course, increased the rate of fire. Now, I wasn't using this gun before with the rapid fire, so you can use it with or without the rapid fire. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's a must or something like that. It was something I wanted to try out, and I definitely have been enjoying it with the rapid fire. It shoots faster. I feel like I can drop opponents faster, so I would definitely go with the rapid fire. And the long barrel, of course, once again, I mean, that's just gonna expand your range, and you want as much range as you can get, you know, on these guns. So long barrel must have. Anytime I see it on any gun, you know, I always put it on there because I feel like I need it. So definitely a long barrel. Fast mags, definitely need that fast reload for this gun. I use this gun on small wraps. I use it for close range fighting. So this is a gun that I definitely need fast mags for. And high caliber, I mean, it just makes the gun stronger, in my opinion. I mean, the gun's not all that powerful, so I feel like the high caliber really puts it at its peak and makes it as strong as it can be. So I would definitely go with that. And these are 5 attachments that I would use for the Vapor. And going on to my custom 10, we're gonna skip 9 because I don't use the Spitfire at all. I just put this on here just try it out again, but I couldn't really tell you guys much about it because I just don't use it. So we're gonna skip that one and move on to my final one, my custom 10, which is the ICR-7. One of the first assault rifles you get in the game, and for a first assault rifle, I mean, this gun is absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the best first assault rifles I've ever seen in any Call of Duty, in my opinion. And it's really good, you know. I see a lot of people using this gun still, even, you know, with unlocking the Maddox and the last submachine gun. You know, I see a lot of people using this gun, and it's very hard to go up against. I lose a lot of gunfights when I'm playing against good people, you know, that are using this gun. So we're gonna go into the attachments. As far as the optics, it's good with the reflex sight, and it's very good with the I found it really good with the dual zoom, in my opinion. I've used it a few times, done really well with it, but for the most part I stuck with the reflex sight, because I've used it in a few close range combat battles, and with the dual sight, trying to aim down my sights, I mean, it's just not gonna work for me. So the reflex sight or an iron sight is definitely something that I would go for, which is what I'm currently running now. the iron sight. I feel like it's much better with the iron sight, and you know, if you have good accuracy, you shouldn't have a problem with using the iron sight. And for the attachments, we got FMJ. I really like FMJ for this gun. You know, penetrates the walls and stuff like that. It's a good attachment to have for this gun, especially, you know, for the enemies who are just, you know, once again, just always behind things and ducking and dodging and stuff like that. You know, you want to try to penetrate those walls, because it's annoying when you have to run all the way to them and then they might kill you or something. So FMJ, pretty much on any gun that offers it, I would use FMJ. Long barrel, once again, you want as much range as you can get on any gun. I mean, that just always helps. The more range, the better. And then we have grip 1 and grip 2, and I mean, that just really makes the gun super stable. You know, it's like the gun doesn't even move, and it helps with accuracy. And I would definitely get those 2 over quick draw and laser sight. You know, you find yourself hip firing a lot, then okay, I guess, yeah, use laser sight with a grip. But me personally, I would do the grip 1 and the grip 2, FMJ and long barrel. So that's gonna wrap up our video here today, guys. So thank you for tuning in and watching the video. Once again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, and I'll be coming out with more tips, tricks, and stuff for you all, just so for the new people who are just playing the game, you all know what to do. Thank you.